The Premier League's headache right now isn't VAR, fixture congestion, or why your captain blanked in fantasy again. It's a two-headed situation over in Manchester that sounds like a threat and looks like a highlight reel. Haaland and Doku. Manchester City didn't just strengthen for 2025-26, they built an answer sheet. We're going to walk through it slow, and you're going to pretend you'd cope better than professional defenders who do this for a living. Let's start with the big one in the middle. Erling Haaland. He's opened this league campaign like he's farming numbers instead of playing football. 11 goals in 8 Premier League matches, which is already more than entire squads have managed. That's 1.44 goals every 90 minutes, a strike roughly every hour on the pitch. And he's not living off penalties. He's carrying about 2/3 of City's league scoring by himself, 11 of their 17 total, which is roughly 65% depending on the day you're counting. And the maddest part is that people are still trying to use words like form. No, this is not form. Form is a purple patch. Gravity? That's permanent. He's bending matches around himself. He's outperforming his expected goals. His XG sits a bit over 9, while he's actually buried 11, which means he's cashing in half chances other players treat like maybe I'll win a corner. He moves, you panic, and before you process the panic, the ball is in the net, and he's doing that hands-on-ears celebration like he can't hear you booing. Now, let's talk about the winger who arrived as chaos and is turning into structure. Jérémy Doku used to be pure electricity and fumes, outrageous take-ons, elastic ankles, and then sometimes the final ball would go missing, like it left early to beat traffic. Pep Guardiola literally described him as the best player in the world in the first 5 meters, which is manager speak for if you blink he's already gone and embarrassing you on camera. Here's the evolution. He's still spamming dribbles at a rate that makes analytics interns start sweating, but the output after the dribble has leveled up. He's gone from just frying fullbacks for sport to frying fullbacks and then picking the right release. You've seen it in the league when he's stacking assists, and in Europe, like in that moment against Napoli, when he danced past 2 defenders in the box and finished it himself. He's no longer just vibes and stepovers. Now, he's evidence. And defenders know it, because by the time you get touch tight, he's already spun, slashed into the area, and rolled a cutback that someone else is tapping in, while you're still doing a 3-point turn. This is where it gets almost unfair. Haaland and Doku, they're not even fully synced yet. The delivery line between them is still in beta. So far, Doku has only teed up Haaland directly a handful of times, usually little pushbacks or squared balls after Doku's beaten his man and torn the backline open. That's like owning a rocket launcher and mostly using it to light birthday candles. City's staff know it, the players know it. Training ground gossip says they're basically building a shared language. Doku reads which shoulder Haaland is leaning on. Haaland reads Doku's hip angle to guess if it's a near-post dart, penalty spot stop, or back-post reel. The plan is for it to become automatic. Defenders are praying it doesn't. You can already see flashes. Against Everton on October 18, 2025, Haaland drags the centre-back toward him like a magnet, while Doku knifes in from the wing. And suddenly, City go from nothing happening to tap in 5 seconds. Against Burnley on September 27, 2025, Haaland sells the run that everyone tracks. Doku keeps driving, and by the time the fullback screams for midfield cover, it's already too late. Tactically, Guardiola has rewired the left side of the team to make this nightmare repeatable. City aren't just hogging the ball in sterile U-shapes anymore. They're tilting their shape so that the nominal left-back tucks inside, an extra midfielder steps up between the lines, and Doku is already left alone on an island with whatever unfortunate soul is playing right back that day. That isolates the duel, 1 versus 1. That's the whole point. At the same time, Haaland drifts into channels nobody wants to defend. So if you bring a second man over to help on Doku, the middle of your box turns into a crime scene. City are actually holding less of the ball than we're used to under Pep, around 58.8% on average in the league so far, and they've even dropped as low as 32.8 possession in one high-level game, which is unheard of for a Guardiola team. They don't need to suffocate you for 70% anymore, they just need 10 seconds of panic. So, defenders are basically left with a choose-your-own-doom menu. Double up on Doku and send help early? Cool, Haaland now sprints into the near-post gap with nobody glued to him and scores while your centre-back is looking for his partner. Track Haaland with 2 bodies at all times? Great, now your right back is stranded on an island with a winger who accelerates like a video game glitch. Stay compact and clog the 6-yard box? Fine, Doku will just carry you backwards on the dribble until you're practically standing in your own keeper's lap and somebody squares it to the penalty spot. Pick one, you're getting cooked either way. Of course, here's the twist that keeps Pep awake. He's already said it publicly after a 2-0 win over Everton. We cannot rely only on him. Him is Haaland. Translation: this is not sustainable if everyone else is just watching the big striker eat. At the moment, no one else in Sky Blue has more than a single league goal, while Haaland is sitting on 11 in 8 and 23 across all competitions for club and country. Guardiola basically called out the rest of the forwards and attacking mids, Doku included, and told them out loud to start showing up on the scoreboard. It was less praise and more warning. This can't just be the Haaland show forever, or his hamstrings become the title race. Because here's the reality: a Premier League season is a marathon made of sprints. You don't win trophies in October off one guy's goals. You win them in February when the chances dry up and the pitch is heavy, and when your 9 touches all have to matter. So City are quietly asking, can the wingers and 8s pile up double figures too? Can Doku turn the threat into production consistently instead of in spikes? Can the secondary scorers hit the kind of volume that lets Pep rest his main weapon without the whole machine stalling? That's not just a City problem, that's everybody else's nightmare. Managers around the league, they're already half joking after playing them, like, yeah, I told the lads I wished I had been somewhere else today. Haaland can hurt you with either foot and in the air, and he doesn't require a perfect cross. He'll manufacture his own angle in traffic. Meanwhile, Doku is walking into the box off the dribble and racking up touches in dangerous areas, like it's a side quest, not a miracle. And remember, this is with their chemistry still downloading. Let's zoom in to the patterns City are drilling before they become muscle memory. Pattern 1, the low cutback. Doku receives wide, isolates his man, and explodes past him. Haaland starts central, nudges the near-side centre-back just enough to freeze him, then ghosts into that dead space around the spot. The return ball isn't floated, it's driven waist-high, fast, mean. Haaland doesn't swing, he just side-foots with violence. You've seen it in those 5-1 type demolitions, where it feels like City is scoring on copy-paste. Pattern 2, the disguised through ball. Doku shows short like he wants it to feet, drags the fullback up the pitch, spins back toward goal, and instantly slides a channel pass between the centre-backs. Haaland is already on his bike between them, because of course he is. And now it's just him, the keeper, and whatever trauma the keeper is about to pick up. Your only solution there is to foul at the edge of the box and sell it as a tangle of legs. Good luck explaining that one when VAR draws the line. Now, the table math. As of right now, Arsenal are nudging the top 10 of the league with 19 points. City, they're sitting right behind on 16, and Liverpool are just behind in 4th with 15. City are not cruising away untouched. They're in a fight, which is funny, because you watch them for 5 minutes and it doesn't look like anyone should be allowed to be in a fight with that. Models and prediction nerds can talk all they want about title odds and percentages. Some still lean Arsenal, some still lean Liverpool. Some have City down in single digits because of their over-reliance and variance. That's adorable. What those spreadsheets can't measure yet is what happens when Doku's final ball becomes clockwork and Haaland keeps doing Haaland things. When the winger's chaos turns into habit and the striker's movement keeps dragging centre-backs into the sun, that's when numbers start to get shy. If you're preparing to face them, what's the plan? You can try to press high and cut service at the source, but that exposes a direct ball into Haaland, and suddenly your centre-half is isolated in a foot race with a Norse comic book character. You can sit deep and throw bodies into the box, but Doku actually loves that, because it means he can walk you backward on the dribble until you're defending on your goal line, and your fullback is flashing back to youth tournaments. The only semi-logical approach is constant doubling in rotation. Fullback plus holding mid jump Doku, centre-back plus weak side fullback track Haaland, and one of your 8 bursts along to the 6-yard box every time City break wide. That's survivable for maybe 20 minutes. After that, you're cooked, your shape is cooked, and your subs are doing warm-ups like it's an evacuation drill. Just to sprinkle in some long-term dread, Haaland is 25 years old, and he's already been locked down at City on a deal that runs deep into the 2030s. Doku is 23 and still learning how to turn chaos into scoreboard, and Pep is openly helping him weaponize those first 5 meters. In other words, this isn't a one-season cameo. This is a partnership that could terrorize people for the next decade, while you're out here wondering if your 32-year-old centre-back's hamstrings are going to hold up until half-time. There is one loose screw, and City know it. If the entire scoring burden piles on Haaland, they become predictable in the only way that matters. Take him out, and suddenly, everything has to come from somewhere else. That's why Doku's evolution is actually the headline. The moment his final ball stops being a clip for socials and starts being a weekly routine, City stop being Haaland plus supporting cast and go back to feeling inevitable. So I'll throw this back at you. Let's say that you're setting up against them. Who are you sending extra help toward? The winger who can delete your fullbacks off the dribble in half a second? Or the striker who turns half chances into goals and half space into funerals? There is no safe answer, only different levels of suffering. Which frightens you more? Haaland hitting a finish early with 0 backlift from 6 yards? Or Doku's first touch when your right back is already on a yellow and breathing through his eyelids? And be honest with yourself, if Doku ends this season with something like 3 or 4 league assists and Haaland clears 30 goals again, are you actually picking anyone else to win the title? Or are you just rehearsing excuses for May? Hydrate, stretch, call your mom, then mark Haaland in the box and try not to get spun by Doku in the same play. If you're into this kind of breakdown, tactics, panic, and a little bit of pain, stick around, because next time we're digging into why City's possession dip isn't a weakness at all. It's the horror. What you're watching with Haaland and Doku isn't just a good combo. It's the league's worst-case scenario, learning to speak in perfect sync, one cutback and one near-post run at a time.